It's very shocking to see a certain category of our leaders making very serious inflammatory statements. Kenyans were shocked the other day when these women leaders, especially women leaders, came to the podium to make this kind of utterances.
Simama kidete. Na nilikwambia siku ingine ukiona umezingirwa na wamama, ujue bado maneno iko sawa. Katiguo. Agikorwa Raila Amollo Odinga, wacha nimalizie na haka. Tokiaga kwaria gukuma ngeciria ni tuingiritie heho my dear. Kama Raila Amollo Odinga, na mnajua ile yote ametupitisha ethe-ini wa thirikari. Na ndi mbere ya Ngai haha ni njui gutire mundu utari ahoera Raila tukire tukore ndariho. Wotire ona Akorino we haha. Ona Akorino we haha na hoya. Tukire tukore Raila Amollo Odinga ndari kuo. Kama sasa Raila Amollo Odinga ako ndani ya serikali, ni makosa gani Rigiji amefanya? Na si ndani ya serikali, amegawiwa. Uhuru ni kugaithania magaithanetie na akaingira marute wira. Lakini hakuna serikali animugawia. Saa hii Raila ako ndani na amegawiwa viti. Kwanza ile kali sana ya jikoni, pahali tunapikia, ni John Badi ODM. Ako pale jikoni, yeye ndio saa hii anapika. Finance bill hiyo ingine italetwa na John Badi. Vitima ine na mwangaza na Petro na ndo ciothe. Hapo tuko na Opio Wadai, another ODM. Joana Toruma ndari kindu atari atwita kuria coast, ata yako ndani ya serikali. Oparenya ako ndani ya serikali. Na mahitia mareko Uhuru ekete. Ni mareko ekete na gikorwa ekete ni kuingiria Raila ri. Si basi wengine wamefanya zaidi. Rigathi Gachagua awachanwa na yeye. Alichaguliwa na mwananchi, agojewe miaka 5 afanye kazi yake, turudi kwenu mseme kama ako sawa au hayuko sawa. Tiasio marekerithia signature na amwe nginya ground matire makinya kuma hede ya emergency.
Under normal circumstances, it is normally assumed that women are more peaceful than men. And this can be corroborated through historical facts, that indeed, under normal circumstances, women are deemed to be more peaceful than men. And women are deemed to be having more innovative ideas rather than destructive ideas compared to men. But in this particular case, it is very, very sad to see such mature women being the ones who are propagating death in our country. To see such elderly and senior citizens being the one who are propagating tribalism in our country. When such senior citizens make this kind of inflammatory statements, do they really think about the ramifications of their statements, the ramification of their words? When we talk tribalism, now let us get into tribalism proper and try to look at it from a broader perspective. If we talk of tribalism, let's be serious. How many Kikuyus are there in Kisumu doing business without any problem with anybody? How many Kikuyus are there in business and doing business and doing very well successfully? How many Kikuyus in equal measure are there in Nakuru? How many Kikuyus are in Eldoret? How many Kikuyus are in Wasingishu? How many Kikuyus are in Kitale? How many Kikuyus are in Mombasa? How many Kikuyus are in Garissa? How many Kikuyus are in Mandera? When as a woman leader you stand to make this kind of inflammatory statements, do you really take time to think through your words and the kind of consequences that your words are likely to have? And that is why I say that it cannot be business as usual to see this kind of old crop of leadership making this kind of unfortunate statements and it seemed to be life as usual. It cannot be business as usual. And this resonates with all Kenyans of goodwill. It cannot be, it will not be business as usual. The saddest part is the Honorable Gathoni Wamuchomba was laughing and celebrating orgasmically Gathoni wa Muchomba, you're a member of parliament whom we respect in so many ways. How come when people were making this kind of inflammatory statements and you are standing beside this elderly woman, elderly, and we are very clear when we underline the word elderly, because she's not just a mother, she's a grandmother and a great-grandmother. When a great-grandmother stands to make this kind of inflammatory statements, Gathoni wa Muchomba, a member of parliament who really tried her level best to distinguish herself from the tribal line, was there cheering the kind of statements that were being made by this senior, elderly, old woman. We are trying as much as possible. You see what the new generation is trying to do to make sure. Why do you think the time generation is saying they are leaderless, they are tribeless, they're everything? Why? Yet you as a senior grandmother, advanced in age, stands at the podium to start, wishing death upon particular tribes, wishing death upon people. When you wish people death, our grandma, our elderly leader, senior leader, when you wish people death, is it your job, really? Let's begin from there. Is it your job? You're just a human being who will tomorrow, most probably, honestly speaking, die. That is the truth. When you advance in age, the next natural process is death. So before you start wishing other people death, do you even look at yourself in the mirror to see how old you are, how inept you are in as far as your thinking is concerned? How, you look very foolish before Kenyans. In very simple English, you look very, very foolish before Kenyans. That is the reality. Leaders are supposed to be people who spew wisdom when they stand to address people. Not to wish people death. Not to castigate and start, categorizing people into tribes. That is not the way to go. That is not the direction that you want to go. And that is why you've seen me making comments that the people who worked and lived and think like Vasco da Gama have no place in modern Kenya. As young people, we cannot allow this kind of crop of leadership to come and lead us. Somebody is a great-grandmother, which is okay. But if she had brilliant ideas that would revolutionize and transform the way we live in the year 2025, in fact, we would have no problem whatsoever. Because you can be advanced in age, but young at heart. Pretty much okay. Very allowed. It cannot be you are advanced in age and also advanced in thought with negative consequences as opposed to having positive consequences of the life of the people. When you rule out and speak in the way you speak, if you know you have a problem, you know where Raila Odinga lives, why don't you go to Karen and then approach the old man and tell them, Mzee, may have a problem with you in this and that area. So that you sit down as elderly people, as senior citizens, and iron out your differences. That is the way mature people behave. You don't come to the podium to start wishing people death. You're wishing people death. Let us now dissect it a little bit further. When you wish people death, look at the person you are trying to please so much in the name of Mzee Rigathi Gachagua. When Mzee Rigathi Gachagua invaded Uhuru Kenyatta's farms, property was stolen. The same property that is now saying. Property was stolen. A lot of destruction was done on those farms. They even went further to start subdividing those farms among themselves and to put up illegal structures on those farms to start claiming ownership of those pieces of land. Did anybody wish Mzee Gachagua death? No. Nobody. Despite the differences that were there, no one spoke to wish Mzee Gachagua death. I remember when Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka and the Azimio team visited Uhuru Kenyatta's farms in Ruiru, they really, really castigated the negative actions against the perpetrators of those kind of negative action on other people's private property. But at no time in their sentiments have they wished Mzee Rigathi Gachagua death. Because that is not the work of human beings, that is the work of God. One of the things that we must not agree moving forward as a country is that when we have especially elderly people, elderly citizens, more so elderly women at the level of grandmother, standing to start spewing this kind of vitriol, it is our duty, it is our responsibility to call them out, to correct them, and to advise them that in the year 2025, people do not think in that manner, people do not live in that manner. In the year 2025, Kenyans want development. Kenyans want transformations. We don't want to live and think the way people like Vasco Kodagama did. That is not the way to go. That is not the direction to follow. It's very unfortunate for a senior citizen at the level of that woman, an elderly woman, to stand and speak the way she did. And for you, Gathoni wa Mushomba, we are disappointed. You don't cheer when those kind of words are being spewed out by senior citizens. You are a senior citizen yourself. When people speak like that, stop them, call them out, correct them. But don't cheer orgasmically